Governor Ron DeSantis, there is a new video out that shows how afraid he is of Donald Trump. It's called Debate Prep, and Joe Biden numbers record low, both problematic. Here it is.
So much, and now to the biggest name so far who has not yet announced a Republican presidential run, Ron DeSantis. But we're hearing that could change soon. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest.
Has the NRA donated to me? I don't think the NRA is quite the boogeyman the Democrats think it is.
This morning, new video obtained exclusively by ABC News shows Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in debate prep sessions when he first ran for governor 5 years ago.
Do we hit him on guns, or just everyone who cares about guns is going to vote for me?
The candid moments from 2018 come as sources say DeSantis' team is already prepping for the 2024 presidential debates. DeSantis would need to win over Trump voters, an issue he grappled with in the past as he ran for governor.
Is there any issue of how much you disagree with President Trump?
Obviously there is, because I voted contrary to him in the Congress.
The past internal recordings offering a rare glimpse into how DeSantis has previously wrestled with how to appeal to Trump's loyal base.
I have to frame it in a way that's not going to piss off all his voters. So what I do is I do what I think is right. I support his agenda in terms of what he's been able to do. If I have a disagreement, I talk to him in private.
Florida lawmakers Matt Gaetz and Byron Donalds helping DeSantis then, but have since endorsed Trump's third White House bid. In the video, aides coaching DeSantis on a range of topics, including how to be likable.
I think when you walk up there, if you have a pad, you have to write in all caps at the top of the pad, likable. And just look, I do the same thing because I have the same personality. We're both aggressive.
Yes, he's such a horrible human being. He has to carry around a sheet of paper or an iPad that says, "I'm likable. People like me. I am somebody." All right, let's get into it. Newly obtained footage of Governor Ron DeSantis out of Florida has produced some insights into his past thoughts on how to handle the former president, Donald Trump. ABC News obtained videos of DeSantis from 2018, back when he was running for his first term as governor. The archived footage shows DeSantis in a debate prep, and as he contemplates how to present himself on various issues. He was posed a question at one point: is there any issue upon which you disagree with President Trump? The mere fact that that question strikes fear in the heart of conservatives is the problem. That's the problem of the party. Now, typically, this leads to a very rigid interpretation of everything based on what Trump thinks of it. And so the policy dynamic of the Republican Party is really no more. The Republicans cannot take policy action or policy position because they're not sure exactly where Trump will align. And the reality is Trump has decided to be A, one day, and B, the next. And so it's a tough position. But here's the thing: who was in that debate prep with the governor? Well, that was the good congressman, Matt Gaetz. But wait a minute, I thought Matt Gaetz was supporting Trump. Well, at least that's what he said to people. Naturally, we see another dynamic behind the scenes. Now I'm going to go to the historic low numbers of Biden. All of this connects. Here it is.
Rick, this poll is just brutal for President Biden.
Absolutely, George. And you talked earlier about that record low approval rating for President Biden. It's actually 6 points down just since February. And the skepticism over his leadership extends deep inside his own party. Only 36% of Democrats think that their party should nominate Joe Biden for a second term. 58% say they would support someone else or prefer someone else. That's despite the fact that the entire DNC and most of the Democratic establishment has rallied behind President Biden. And you're seeing real weaknesses in the coalition that powered Joe Biden to the presidency back in 2020. Biden carried independents by 13 points against Donald Trump. He is now trailing Trump by 9 points among those same voters. He carried black voters by 75 points in 2020. Now he is up just 35. That may sound like a lot, but the fact of the matter is, in modern politics, that is not the kind of number that a Democrat needs to be victorious. And then, of course, that does spill over into the head-to-head matchup, the hypothetical rematch Trump versus Biden. Right now, a 7-point edge in our poll from in Trump leading Biden. And in fact, it's an identical number with Ron DeSantis in a head-to-head that might happen next November. That tells us at this very early stage, George, that this race is shaping up a lot more about the incumbent president, Joe Biden, than it is about any of his challengers.
You heard it. Joe Biden, current president, who has announced he's running for re-election. Most Democrats do not want him to run. He is losing the black vote by the minute. Why? Lack of delivery. Him and VP Harris ran on deliverables. They said, vote for us, we're going to give you A, B, and C. Well, those communities who organized, knocked on doors, made phone calls, drove people to the polls, gave you endorsements and checks, defended you on social media, maybe even lost friends over it. Those individuals wanted a radically new delivery. They did not like the direction Trump was taking the country. And they assumed when you campaigned on making a change, that this change would come under your presidency. And so you received a record number of votes, Mr. President. It was a reigning endorsement against Donald Trump, not really for you. You see, there's nothing sacred about that office. The only thing sacred are the voters who put you there to do a job. All right, I said this would happen, David. I said if you don't deliver, it will reflect in voter apathy the next go round. And that's exactly what you're seeing in these polls.
Right. I mean, Joe Biden promised a $15 an hour minimum wage. A lot of companies are already paying that, but for some reason, the Biden administration can't deliver on that. They can't deliver on figuring out what to do about student loan debt. It's mired in the courts. Working wages. I mean, the wealth gap continues to grow between wealthy and lower income Americans. So yeah, Joe Biden is in some trouble in terms of not keeping his promises. But here's the other thing: is that Americans tend to have a very sort of short memory, and a lot of Donald Trump's, the drama over Donald Trump, I think, starts to fade in the background. The priority is right now, I mean, whenever a president is seeking a re-election, it is a referendum on that person. It's usually not about the challenger. There are a few exceptions, Obama, Romney in 2012, but for the most part, this is about Joe Biden. And I would be worried for a lot of Democrats who support him. But even though we've got 18 months until the general election, I mean, there's already sort of this perception out there that Joe Biden is not working very hard, that he's old, that he's slowed down, that he's got maybe some cognitive problems. And I think most Democrats would say, so what? I'll take Joe Biden asleep before I'll take Donald Trump awake any day. However, that's if it's a Joe Biden who's delivering, and right now he's not.
Yeah, and here's the thing: when anyone receives the nomination of their party, you're talking about 7% difference. The Republican nominee for president and the Democratic nominee for president will never be outside of a 7-point range as it relates to matchup. So you're talking about slim numbers already, no matter who gets the nomination. And then there's a fight for that slim number, that 7%. All right, we're gonna continue to follow. Hopefully these numbers change by way of delivering on the agenda.